Hi, and welcome to video number 5, where you get to learn how to create your outline and create your services. Now, we're also going to be talking about, how to figure out what kind of services to provide to your clients and your customers. Now, before we talk about the outline and figuring out what your services are going to be, let's talk about the client. The first thing you need to understand is your client, because guess what? That is who is going to buy your product, your services, or your consulting. Now, what I've done here is I've laid it out into a step-by-step process. So you can see that you create a project outline for your clients first, because not all of your clients are going to get all of your services. Some will have some of your services, some will have some of your other services. So there's no one-size-fits-all outline or service outline. So you're going to give your clients a specific customized project outline. You're going to figure out what their goal is. What is their goal? Most likely it's just to market the products and get more money, things like that. But yeah, that's pretty much self-explanatory. But what are their specific goals, or what are the goals? What are these specific goals? And then you need to figure out, okay, how can I get that client to that goal by using specific strategies? And then how realistic are these strategies? How long is it going to take? And of course, what do you need to do to get this client to their goal? Now, keep in mind that not all clients are created equal, and not all of their businesses are going to be the same. So really, there's no one size fits all. So that's pretty much a general view of understanding your clients. And like I said, there's no one size fits all plan. However, if you understand, you have your outline created, you have your services created, and you try to figure out all the services that you can provide, then you can customize it. So the first thing you need to do is you need to meet with your customer. That's pretty much the primary thing. So you need to meet with your customer first. You need to ask them lots of questions. See, the more questions you ask the customer, and you can even give them free advice, that's fine. You don't want to give too much advice, but you want to give enough advice to let them know that you actually care about them. And you're sort of building that relationship with them as you meet with them, because you've taken time, you're giving them some advice up front, what possibly they might need to do. And you might have a free consultation first, and then you can get a good view of what they need. What do they do? Are they potential prospects? For example, in the consulting world, generally you want to reach the type of customer like lawyers, accountants, people who have clients that pay them a lot of money. So if the clients are paying them $100, $200, $300 an hour, you can expect that these types of clients will most likely take you pretty seriously. So these types of clients generally would rather you do it all. So if you think about it, a very small mom and pop store, running a restaurant, most of these companies, most of these small businesses do not have time to do everything. However, there are some people that have time to do that. So you got to think, do they need consulting, or do they need done-for-you services? Now, generally what I found is if you find a customer that has a mix, they want you to do services plus they want some consulting, then this is a good customer. So the question is, can they afford to pay you now, and can they afford to pay you in the long run? Now, if they can afford to pay you now, that's great. But if they're not getting consistent income themselves, then they may not be the best customer. So if they pay you, let's say $5,000, $10,000 up front to do a done-for-you service, that's fine. But if they want ongoing services from you, that's the ideal client. And you've got to think to yourself, which clients can you take and which clients must you walk away from? Because you can't take every single client. Otherwise, you might miss out on clients who are willing to pay you a lot more money. But at the same time, you want to deal with customers who want to deal with you as well. Because some customers will not take you very seriously, therefore are not willing to pay you much. Or they're willing to pay you a lot of money, but they expect a ton of stuff. So you want to get somebody who you can help, but has a realistic feeling of what they want, or they know what they want, and they know it is realistic. Ask them questions about their business. Get to know their business. If it's a plumbing business, get to know what is their business all about. How do their customers come and find them and pay them and things like that. And what are they doing now? For example, right now I'm consulting a realtor, and I've asked her, I said, what are you doing now to get people to your website and to get referrals? Well, a lot of what she's doing right now is primarily offline marketing, flyers, business cards, things like that. But in this case in point, she's not doing a whole lot of online marketing, and that's the key. What are they missing? Well, in this case, the realtor is missing a lot of online marketing. She's not doing video marketing, which can really help offline businesses. And I can see so many potentials and so many things that I can offer her if I know what is missing. So what are they doing now, but what are they missing? Because this is a great opportunity for you to write pretty much everything that they are missing. Now, you got to realize that you only want to give your client what they need. Do not sell them something that they do not need or they feel like they do not need, because most clients don't like to be sold to. If they feel like you are selling to them, then they are going to walk away and you are going to say bye. So you are in this business because you want to consult and you want to help your customers. So only offer them what they're missing, but what they need. And can the missing items be fulfilled by your services and consulting, which is pretty much what I talked about earlier. Now let's move on to the outline for your services and writing up your proposal. Now this is basically a template. You can follow these templates for your own creation of your services and your outlines and things like that. So I'm going to give you some ideas so that you can understand this in a better light. So the first thing you need to do is you need to figure out what your goal is. What are you aiming to achieve? Like, what kind of service are you going to create? Then you need a specific strategy. How are you going to get to that goal in general? It doesn't need to be super specific, or it can be in the middle of general and specific, but you need a strategy. You need to know how to get to that goal. How realistic is that goal? You got to ask yourself, how realistic are these goals and are these strategies? Are you shooting for the moon, or are you shooting for something that's closer, that is more achievable? Because if you shoot for the moon, then guess what? When you promise too much, I've learned this in the past, but if you promise too much and you charge, let's say, $5,000 for something that you're shooting to the moon for, then your customer is going to expect a lot more. When you don't fulfill it, guess what? They could just either get their money back or harm your credibility and your reputation because you did not fulfill your promises, or they could sue you. So you definitely want to keep in mind, you got to do your research beforehand, and you got to do brainstorming beforehand before you go all out. Then you need to figure out, what are you going to do? What are the exact steps that are needed to take to fulfill this goal? What do you need to do? And it all makes sense when I give you an example. Then you also need to figure out the turnaround time. How long can this take? And be sure to give yourself at least 1.5 or 2 times more worth of wiggle room. So, for example, if you feel like you're doing video consulting or Facebook marketing, and you feel like an ad takes about an hour to set up, I would give yourself 1.5 hours or 2 hours to set up the ad campaign. Because remember, a lot of times when we estimate services that we do, at least I do, you got to know yourself, of course, as well. I know that I tend to estimate a lot smaller. So if I tell somebody, hey, I'll have it done in about 2 days, that's usually a whole week for me in reality. So I found that I know myself and my estimation is a little off. So you've got to give yourself a little bit of wiggle room. So let me give you an outline example. Let's talk about a goal. Let's say that our goal is we're going to set up an online video marketing consulting firm or service. Now, you could go all out if you wanted to and just offer tons of marketing services if you want to, but I will say that I recommend that you pick one service, whether you're setting up a list, autoresponder, anything like that. You want to brand yourself as the specific marketing consultant, because if you're dealing with offline businesses, everybody out there, I found there's so many people out there that are offering marketing consulting services. So you got to figure out, how can I stand out among all of the other people who are selling marketing consultations? Well, if you go towards a niche and you're very, very specific, then, for example, online video marketing consultant, you can help people market their videos, their content, but at the same time, when you meet with them, you say, hey, not only do I do online video marketing, hey, I can set up a Facebook ad campaign, I can do a Google pay-per-click ad campaign,